And good afternoon from San Antonio, Texas. This is Matt Scherer, and I'm here with Tom Singer and his daughter Kate, and we're going to talk about LinkedIn for learning. And it's always a pleasure to be around Tom Singer because he brings like an energy and passion to everything he does. I've had a chance to talk to Kate a little bit about her LinkedIn profile, so we're going to kind of go through some of the things we discussed, right, Kate? Right,
Mhm.
Tom?
Yep, absolutely. Thanks for inviting us along for this webinar, Matt.
So let me just get this. So part one, defining your LinkedIn purpose. So when I talked to you last week, Kate, what did we talk about in terms of purpose?
Kind of finding out what my goals are for the future and what industry I'm looking into and how to shape my LinkedIn to reflect that.
So kind of like you're figuring out which road to take to get to that goal?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and one of the things I thought was interesting when we were talking to you is that a lot of high school or college kids, people don't think they need to pay any attention to LinkedIn until maybe they're a junior in college or a senior when they're actually thinking about going and getting that career. But it's actually pretty smart to start early because the more people you can genuinely connect with, it's not just about collecting links, the more chances that some of those people might be able to offer internships, exposure to scholarships for people who are still looking at selecting their colleges, defining what areas they can study and what colleges offer good programs. There were a lot of things that I think really it's probably smart to start, at least by your junior year of high school rather than waiting till later.
I couldn't agree more with you, Tom. And I always look at like this picture of the road, like which road are you going to go? And so like here, a lot of people obviously think that it's just a college-only unique experience, like with Kate. But there's other people that might want to go into vocations, or they may want to go in the military. I've worked with people that want to go in the military. They want to make an informed decision on which branch of service they might want to go in.
Yeah, and any of these things that you want to do, the people who have connections and have access to information are always the ones who not only can make smarter decisions, but it's also true that all opportunities in life come from people. So the broader network you can have and actually have genuine conversations with people, the more chance you're going to have to be able to find those opportunities in the first place.
Yeah, I'm looking here at this military photo because usually in normal times on Friday, they'll all be walking down with their parents and their uncles and their aunts. And I want to tell them when I see them when they graduate, say, look, you don't recognize this, but when you go to tech school, your tech school instructors will kind of frame where you go, because if you're a hardworking person, they're going to let the resource managers or various Air Force commands know what kind of person you are. So it's that invisible network that sometimes people don't really see.
Yeah, and the sooner you start really making those connections and understanding that concept that all opportunities are going to come through the people who you connect with, the better chances you're going to have upon stumbling upon something that gets you that right opportunity. Or for a lot of people who want to go straight into the military, eventually many people transition out of the military and they're starting at square one.
Yep.
You're doing it at this stage, pre-military, keeping up those connections through the military, you're going to be able to identify job opportunities.
That's so true. So here was Kate's profile about a week ago. We call this the stealth profile, kind of like the SR-71 flying over Russia back in the days. There was nothing there,
Well, it was interesting, Matt, because when we started talking about doing this webinar, and I said maybe we could use my daughter Kate, who's a high school senior, maybe we could use her as a guinea pig, if you will. I asked her, I said, so Kate, I go, do you even have a LinkedIn profile? And she said, yeah, I created one a long time ago, but I don't even know if I remember the login. And this is what we found when we found it. It was just her name. She's been working at REI for 6 or 7 months, so that was in there. And that was all that was there. It really didn't tell any story. So nobody would ever find this stealth profile. And if for some reason they did, it wouldn't really mean anything. And I think I was her only contact.
Yeah. And so from there we went to this. Now we got to, this is the second step that we did. We did as much as that when we talked on the phone the other day. And we'll save the last screenshot because we're going to save that for the end. Okay.
Well, it was interesting when we jumped on the phone with her and we looked at, just updating it, just adding a picture and sort of a purpose and an identification of who you are. the difference from those two things, which took honestly 5 minutes, I was surprised just looking at the two screenshots that, wow, just a couple of tweaks actually make you stand out more.
But we're going to save the rest of the profile for later, but it is very impressive, Kate. What do you think, Kate? What do you think you could do with it now that you've got your profile in place?
I think I could definitely find more internships and more contacts and maybe future jobs with it. It's very more representative of who I am and what I've done. So I think it'll help a lot more.
She also added it to her resume because that's one thing that the college kids get asked a lot, both when applying to college, although she's done with that process, but also when they're looking at scholarships, people say attach your resume. It's, I think, more professional to have it up there because it's not something every high school kid has.
No, and I talked to a good friend of mine. You'll see his profile in just a second, Jason. And Jason is at UT, and he said that when he got there and he started going to the professional student organizations, he was the only one in the group that actually had a profile in place. So he's got a step ahead. And Kate, you're a step ahead right now. So for those that are watching it and want to know how to get started, this is just the basic step. You just go to LinkedIn, you sign up, get asked for an email and a password, and then you'll get a notification in your inbox saying, did you really want to get that LinkedIn account? And after you do that, this is what you'll see. And for students, it's important to like put their occupation, which is student, where they went to college, what's their industry. So pretty simple steps. This is the one thing that I want to tell everybody who's watching this or looking at this. One of the things I don't agree with LinkedIn is how they want you to give them all of your contacts. So always skip this process right below the blue continue, because the best way is to reach out to people and connect with people.
And I also agree that, you know, this is one of those things that, you know, you don't always think about who is in my computer, in my email. It's almost everyone you've ever emailed back and forth with can be stored in your contacts.
Yes.
Some of those people, it's not appropriate to just send a blanket cold email to, because you don't really know them. You just exchanged emails. Another thing is some of those people aren't the people who you necessarily want to be connected with. So I think this is a step that everyone should skip, whether you're a high school student or, you know, you're a 50-year-old.
And I really like this slide because it's important, because when you sign up for the first time, LinkedIn's going to ask you a lot of questions. So if in doubt, skip. So, and this is what happens when you get to the final page. Then you hit the finish button and you're on your way to your LinkedIn profile. So, defining your story. Here's our friend Jason we just talked about a second ago. Not as good as yours, Kate, but he's got some important elements. He's got a photo, middle initial, and a graduation date. Here is Guy. He's got a photo and he's got a headline just like you, and he also has a title. So he says Guy L. Martin, thespian. He wants to be an actor. So the thing that we talked about the other day, Kate, was the mission statement. Do you remember the mission statement? This is one of the people I work with. She wants to be a museum archivist. And I think she wants to go to either UT or Texas A&M. I said, you know, you should look at other schools because you probably could find a better program for that. So just look around. So we had talked with Amanda about 6 months ago. Any thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, I think that the idea of having that mission statement, it just lets people know who you are and what you're looking for, because you never know, especially if you're sharing it with people, you've got it on your resume. If you say, like in Kate's case, you know, she would like to go to work in environmental biology, environmental studies, possibly work for the U.S. National Parks System. By putting that on there, even though she's only 18 years old, someone she crosses paths with, their sister, their mother, their best friend, their former boss, could be someone who works in either some sort of environmental section of a company or of a nonprofit or at the National Park System. And they're like, oh, I could introduce you there. And you just don't know where those serendipitous meetings could lead at some point down the line. So letting people know this is who I am and this is what I want to do, because you're a student, you're not doing it yet. You know, and you can always change. I remind Kate, she could change her mind on what she wants to do. Her sister's a college graduate. changed direction in the middle of college and is doing something entirely different with their life. That's totally cool. You can just go update your LinkedIn.
Exactly. So, and then of course the goal statement. So in this case, this person was looking, this is our friend Guy, for their career to give myself experience for coming back to become a teacher. Okay. So this is his goal, but like you said, Tom, it could change, right? And then the call to action. If you can help me. And we will see that in your profile in just a second, Kate. And then finally, I like the key skills because the key skills kind of go into an algorithm so they can find certain things about you. So,
and I don't know if we did, I didn't look at Kate's final program.
Yeah, so we can talk about that. So key skills.
Yeah, she's been working on it, and I don't know that we got to this point, but one of the things Kate does is she has skills in video editing that she learned in high school. She was in the, her high school had tracks, and her track was, yeah, it was media tech. So she's, you know, got above average video editing skills, and that's something that all small business people need. So this is something that she needs to put into that skill section if she hasn't already done it.
Not to mention if she works for the US government, they all can use people that understand how to edit videos and to put together presentations. So this is an additional skill that I would put here. Okay. So 4 key questions to ask yourself. Who am I? What do I want to do after high school? Where can I go for help? And now, look at this profile, huh?
It definitely makes a big difference when you put that banner on, because you were showing the other couple of examples. They had really good profiles, but they still just had sort of that LinkedIn graphic with the little connecting network dots that they had. And I noticed right before we logged on, when I checked out what Kate had added, as someone who wants to work around the outdoors, I get that from this photo.
That's what I love about this, Kate, is that I love this picture. I'm guessing this is Yosemite? I'm not sure.
Yeah, she took this picture on our trip to Yosemite.
Gotcha. Okay. And so, congratulations. There you are with your official Dartmouth t-shirt. Yeah. Go Big Green, right? Is it Big Green?
Yeah.
Yep. So what would you tell other high school students about the need for having a LinkedIn profile? Why do you think that's going to be important for you, and why would it be important for them?
I think it's a very like good place to put all of the stuff that was on your resume, but like usually if you're going into a job interview, they'll ask for your resume or you have to give it to them. But on LinkedIn, they can just find that, or if they're just looking for random people, it'll pop up and then you have your entire resume right there. So it's a way to put all of your skills and accomplishments.